Hi, welcome to my podcast, Stories by Vera V. Today I'm joined by a very special guest by the name of
Hola! Hey!
And we'll be talking what's it like being an Olympic weightlifter.
Interesting stories by interesting people. Stories by Vera V.
So would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Úlfhildur, but I usually go by Ulla. I am an Olympic weightlifter and I do CrossFit as well. I'm Icelandic and I live in Sweden.
That's a nice description. Thank you. So I wanted to ask, what made you want to get into weightlifting?
It was actually through CrossFit, which I started through my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So I did gymnastics when I was younger, and so I've been around sports my whole life. But my parents, they opened a CrossFit box, and I was with them all the time over there. And yeah, I got bored of gymnastics and wanted to quit, but I still wanted to do some sport. So yeah, I tried out CrossFit.
So for gymnastics, you were doing the, I don't know what they're called, but I know they're rhythmic gymnastics. And then there's the kind with, I guess.
Yeah, it's artistic gymnastics. That's what I was doing.
Artistic gymnastics. How'd you like that?
Yeah, it was really fun at first. It's really like kind of basic to do gymnastics in Iceland. Everybody does gymnastics or football. So yeah, I was just doing it with my friends, and yeah, I thought it was really fun. But as I started getting older and getting better, the training volume was way too much, and it started to take a toll on my body. So I got a knee injury, which kind of made me want to quit.
Yeah. No, training's definitely for gymnastics is intense because there's so many different events for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were training like 15 hours a week, 3 hours every day. It was crazy.
And they're all so intense, right? Especially like the vault.
Yeah. The vault and the floor, like you're just the joints, our joints are not made for that.
No, yeah. Going at it.
Yeah.
And
but yeah, it was really fun, but it was a lot and really hard to keep up with, especially with school and friends as well.
And then after that you got into CrossFit. So what age was that? Do you know?
Yeah, that was in 2017 when I was about 13 or 14.
Wow, so you did gymnastics for a while.
Yeah, it was like 8 years.
Oh my gosh, that's so long.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I remember I went to Sweden for a training camp, and after that I came home and I was like, nope, this is not for me. This is not something that I want to do in the future.
So do you still do it just for fun or like as a hobby?
Yeah, not anymore, but about a year ago we moved to Sweden, and my younger sister, she started training gymnastics, and I went with my mom to pick her up, and I was like, wow, I came into the gymnastics hall and I was like, wow, I missed this. So yeah, I started doing it again about a year ago, but it just, you can't do everything, or you have to kind of pick what you really want to focus on. Yeah.
Prioritize.
Exactly.
And with CrossFit, I know what it is, but is there something specific that you focus on? Or is it kind of just for, like overall athleticness?
CrossFit is really, yeah, that's really the point. You train to be ready to do anything. Like you usually for competitions, you don't really know what you're gonna compete in. They just, you just do whatever they tell you to do. It could be like running or swimming, or it could be gymnastics. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's quite a big sport actually.
Really?
there's a competition called the CrossFit Games, and that's a huge competition, like the World Championship.
Because I've only heard, I think, of CrossFit as a recreational activity.
And it's really fun. I mean, there are so many aspects you never... What does that mean? English is my second language. I don't know what that means. Recreational.
Recreational as in like for fun. Just for like health reasons.
Yeah, that's a really big part as well. I mean, not nearly everyone that does CrossFit is competing. It's really common to just do it, for fun, for health, stuff like that.
But with you knew right away that you wanted to go into the competition aspect of it?
Sorry?
But with you, did you know right away that you wanted to compete? Or at first did it just start off as a...
No, it just started off as something fun. I mean, I was quite young when I started, like 13 or 14. So it was kind of just doing something to keep myself busy and healthy. And because I mean, my whole family does CrossFit. So I wanted to try it because, I just knew that I had to do something. I couldn't just sit at home, do nothing.
Do they compete also?
My dad used to compete. He actually went to the games in 2012. Yeah, but he has his knees are like, they're not up to competition standards today. So he actually was my coach. He's more he went more to the CrossFit, the coaching side today. Yeah, but my mom, she competes, but she competes in Olympic weightlifting.
Really? Oh my gosh, a family of athletes.
Yeah, it's really like helpful. It keeps you it keeps you motivated and like ready.
Yeah, I can imagine a very like nice environment for sports.
The perfect environment.
So with CrossFit, like you said, there are multiple, I guess, categories of it.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, you have the like endurance, like running, biking, swimming. You have strength, like gymnastics, like pull-ups, toes to bar, muscle-ups, stuff like that. Handstand walking, even. So it's really, really versatile. And I haven't heard of one person that got bored of CrossFit. There are so many aspects of it.
Yeah, because like, there's so much to do,
Yeah, exactly.
And then what made you go into weightlifting? Was it because of your mom? Because she was already in it?
No, I think I actually got into weightlifting before my mom. Really? But I mean, Olympic weightlifting is a part of CrossFit. So you are doing the same movements in CrossFit and Olympic weightlifting. But I started competing in Olympic weightlifting, I think kind of the same time I started doing CrossFit in 2017. But I mean, that was just, it was some small competition just for fun, just to try it out.
So you trained for it via CrossFit, or was there a separate plan or program?
I was only doing CrossFit, but I was competing in weightlifting on the side. So that was not my main focus. My main focus was CrossFit, but Olympic weightlifting kind of came with it.
So what made you, I guess, dedicate yourself to Olympic weightlifting more, like as your main priority?
When I moved to Sweden, I moved to Sweden, and I was still kind of struggling with a knee injury from gymnastics. So I wasn't really able to train CrossFit at the level that you kind of have to be at to compete. So I was doing really, really basic movements, and I kind of just, I don't really know. I just started liking Olympic weightlifting more. So I focused more on that.
What?
But oh, sorry.
What about it drew you in, I guess? Because I see with CrossFit how it's very versatile, so there's a lot to do. But with Olympic weightlifting specifically, is there like an aspect of it that you really like?
I think it's just my desire to perfect things. So there's always something to work on. Olympic weightlifting is really technical, so there's always something that you can tweak with your lifts to make them better and to be more efficient.
And there's 6 types,
and
right?
There are actually 2 types.
2 types. Oh.
Yeah, in Olympic weightlifting, you compete in snatch and clean and jerk.
Because when I was researching this, not too much, but like it was like 6 types of Olympic weight lifts. I was like, okay, 6.
Yeah, it might be like you have Olympic weightlifting, and then you have powerlifting. And in powerlifting, you do squat, bench, and deadlift, and then you have Olympic weightlifting, which is a few more types. So you might have researched the weightlifting, the whole weightlifting category.
I might have.
Yeah, maybe.
And so with Olympic weightlifting and powerlifting, the main difference is what? Like besides the lifts? Because I mean, I guess the idea is the same, right? You lift as much as you can.
Yeah, it's very similar, but I mean, it's really, I'm not really sure what the difference is other than the lift. It's kind of the same idea. But in Olympic weightlifting, you're taking the bar from the floor to over your head. So that's maybe the thing. You don't really do that in powerlifting. You mostly just like deadlift just from the ground up to your thighs, and bench. You know how that works.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a video of this one guy. I think he's maybe the number 1 powerlifter, and he lifted like 500 kilograms in the deadlift.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's crazy. And there's actually one Icelandic guy. He won the world championships in powerlifting. He took like 500 something in deadlift.
I just can't comprehend it, you know?
No, it's crazy. Their face, it gets so red, and sometimes their nose starts bleeding. It's so brutal.
It is. And with the one guy that I saw, I don't know who he is exactly, but he said that he didn't do anything 3 days after the competition, like nothing at all. He just gave it full rest.
Yeah, that's. I think you have to do that after putting your body through that amount of strain. Wow, that's crazy.
And after you compete, what's your, I guess, like post-competition sort of routine?
Post-competition, just chilling. I mean, yeah, it really takes a toll on you competing. So you just have to chill, and I mean, I usually go for something good to eat and some candy or stuff like that, just to treat myself.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, you have to keep the balance.
No, for sure. How do you feel after? Like, is it just, are you mentally tired as well? Because I can imagine it can be very, I guess, like high stakes, high pressure.
Yeah, it is. You're standing alone on a platform in front of a crowd of people and judges, and it's a lot of pressure. So yeah, it takes it's really mentally draining.
And for the judging process of it, how is it determined? Like, what's the system, I guess?
There are 3 judges. That there's one in front of you, one on your left, and one on your right side. And there are a few rules in Olympic weightlifting. Like if you're doing the jerk, that's from your shoulder overhead. If you bend your elbow a bit, then the lift will be disqualified.
Really? That's so sudden.
Yeah, it's really strict.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same in snatch. You take the bar from the floor over your head. If you bend your arm just a little bit, the lift will be disqualified.
Why do you think they do that?
I mean, you're not disqualified from the competition. I mean, like the lift will not be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but so I mean, really technical.
Yeah, it's really technical, and yeah, I mean, it's just another aspect to make it harder. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had that happen where your arm bent?
Yeah, it happens, and it's really frustrating because you managed to lift it, but you made a small mistake, and they don't accept it. Mm. That's really frustrating. But I mean, just another thing to work on.
Mm-hmm. And how many competitions have you been in? Have you competed a lot? I
have competed a lot. I don't know how many times I've competed, actually.
Too many to count.
I've been doing it since 2017, so I can't remember. It's a lot of competitions.
And is it year long, or is there a season for it?
It's year long. Yeah, I would say it's really spread over the year, and you kind of have to choose what competitions you want to do.
Yeah. So what are the main ones? Like the ones that you really prepare for?
Last year for me, that was the World Championships. That was the biggest competition that I was like focusing the most on, because you go through like different training phases so that we call it peaking. And so you're peaking at the right time where you're at when you're in your best form. So yeah, we were focusing on the World Championships for that.
Wow, World Championships! That's major.
World Championships. Thank you.
Is that a goal you had?
I was just gonna say it was an amazing feeling.
Yeah. How does it work? Like, what I guess went into the competition? How was it? Was it spread over, like a certain number of days, or was it just one?
It was. I mean, for me, it was only one day, but it was. Yeah, it's a really big competition. So you have the female and the male groups, and then you have different weight categories. So it's quite a few days actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to. It was actually held in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So we went there about a week before I was competing, because I mean there's time difference, and there's the temperature difference, and there's a lot of things that you kind of have to get used to. So yeah, we were there for quite a while, and the competition was on for the whole time we were there. So it's kind of like week or 10 days that the World Championships are spread over.
And how many, I don't know what it would be called, like events are there in a day?
There in Olympic weightlifting, you only have one event, or yeah, it's a few hours. You show up to the competition, and then you warm up, and then you have 3 tries for each lift. So you start with snatch, and you can choose your starting weight, and you go onto the platform, you lift the weight, and then you can choose if you want to go higher, how many kilos you want to go higher. And then it's you're not lifting after yourself. It's spread up. It's like spread out with the weights. So you just decide, okay, I want to start with 75 kilos in snatch. And then there's one other girl that wants to do 76 kilos. So she will lift after I'm done doing the 75 kilos. And then I maybe want to go to 77 kilos. So then I will lift after her. And that's how it works.
Okay, it's good I think it's good that it's spread out, because it kind of gives you a little bit like of a rest, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's really, I mean, you're not really lifting for more than a few seconds, but you really get tired.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really good thing to have some rest.
Plus, when you're doing it, you're kind of doing it at your max capacity, right? It's the most.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you usually the first weight should be kind of safe, just so that you have something to work with. So if you start too high and you're not able to get it, you're gonna lose the 3 attempts that you had in the snatch, and you're gonna end up with 0 kilos in snatch. So then you have no chance of winning. So your first lift has to be kind of safe, but still like a bit, quite heavy. But yeah.
So what's the difference, the weight difference for you personally from the first lift to the third? Like, how much do you increase it?
My last competition, I started in 75 kilos snatch, and then I went up by 5 kilos. So I did 80 kilos. And then I went a bit crazy in the last lift, and I went up 5 kilos again, which is kind of a lot. But it worked out. I got it. So
nice. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. But usually it's like 3 kilos or maybe 2 kilos that you're increasing.
That's insane, though. 90 kilos is a lot of weight.
Yeah, it is.
What'd you start with back when you started CrossFit for the first time, when you were like 14? Do you remember?
What weights?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually going through my camera roll and finding the videos from my first competition. I think I did like 29 kilos.
Oh my God, the progress.
The progress is crazy.
That's from 90 to like 30. That's a 60 kilos increase.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
And what about, so that was for the snatch, right?
Yeah, that was the snatch.
And then for the other one?
The clean and jerk was usually start with like 93 kilos and then maybe go up to 97. And then at my last competition, I went up to 100.
Did you actually? Nice.
I did, and I got it. So it's crazy.
That is actually like 100 kilos. Wow.
100 kilos over your head.
And what'd you start with on that one? Do you remember?
Yeah, I started with like 93 or 93 maybe. So.
Well,
no, in the first competition.
Yeah, sorry. 93 when you were 14. Wow.
No, that was probably like 45 kilos.
So you more than doubled it. Wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel before the competition starts? Like nervous, I can imagine, but what do you do with those sort of jitters,
I get really nervous, but it doesn't really affect my lifting. It mostly affects my like ability to eat. I get really nervous and I get really bad stomach aches, so I have a really hard time eating before competitions. So that's really the kind of the only negative effect. But I'm able to use the stress and the adrenaline to my advantage when I'm on the stage.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. I think that's kind of, I could thank the gymnastics for kind of teaching me how to use the stress to my advantage. This
is so funny because the last episode I recorded with a gymnast, and she was talking about the same exact thing about the adrenaline rush and how it actually helps her rather than hurts her in competition.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't come by itself. You kind of have to learn how to do that.
Yeah. Is there anything, because I know some people, they do a visualization technique where they imagine themselves doing it before they actually do it to kind of ease their nerves and, let their body know, like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Do you do any of that?
Yeah, I do it. But it kind of comes by itself. It's not something that I really focus on. Okay, now I'm going to visualize. It just just take the moment before you lift, see yourself doing it, take a deep breath, and then just go for it.
Okay. This is kind of a weird question, but I want to ask. So let's say you have a competition like on this specific day. When do you start to get nervous for it? Is it that same day, or is it, a couple of days before that?
It's really different for each competition. I mean, it depends on if I'm competing against someone and if there's a lot of pressure, or if I'm just competing against myself and I kind of have no pressure. Mm-hmm. But for example, when we were in Saudi Arabia for the World Championships, I could already feel the stress like building up 4 days before I was competing. When we went to the competing hall and I was watching the other people compete, I was like, damn, I'm really going to be up on that stage lifting with all these people watching me. So yeah, it can come like a few days before.
Mm-hmm. How many people are watching in the audience?
I don't really know. It kind of hasn't been a lot because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have the judges, and then you have the people that maybe have been competing the day before, or like the same day, and maybe the people that are going to compete after you. So, and then their coaches and maybe some family, and then yeah, that's kind of it.
Okay, that's still cool though. Tell an audience.
Yeah, and like everybody's so supportive. Everybody always claps when you're done, and like shouting for you. So it's really.
Is it really also amazing. Broadcasted?
Yeah, it's most often live broadcasted, like almost every single competition.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really put their energy into that, which is great, because I mean, I have a lot of family in Iceland, and maybe if I'm competing in Sweden, then they can still watch and stuff like that.
No, that is great. So then they don't have to travel, just watch it.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And also for the pre-competition, like food, I guess, because I know for runners and people who do high cardio stuff, they eat like a bunch of carbs. They have like a feast beforehand for the energy. So what is it like for you?
It's Olympic weightlifting kind of goes fast. You're not really competing for a long time, so you don't really need the carbohydrates as much as endurance people that compete in endurance sports. So it's just mostly just eating something that you're used to eating, just something that you know that your stomach can handle. And then maybe right before, or when you're warming up, right before you go on stage, maybe something like Snickers, that's really high calorie and gives you some energy fast, so that your body can recover between lifts. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. And during each lift, do you think about anything, or is your mind just blank?
It's mostly just like, just don't fuck it up. You can do this. Yeah.
That's good.
My mind is always on that.
Because I've heard of some, I mean, I guess it's different, but for some pianists or performers and such, when they're performing, their mind is just like, they can't recall the moment after it's done.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah. When I'm competing in CrossFit, I can't. I just black out and I'm just doing whatever. But when I'm in weightlifting, I can remember everything.
Mm-hmm. That's very, I guess it's good because it's so technical. You kind of have to remember everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you really have to focus on everything, like focus on the muscles that you have to flex, and how you're gonna pull, and when you're gonna land, and when to drop, and stuff like that. Yeah, because there's like the judges in the middle, they have like a button, and they press it when you're allowed to drop it. So you have to hold it for a few seconds, and then there's like a bell that beeps, and then you can drop it.
For how many seconds, do you know?
It's just until you're like stable. So you can't, if you're walking around with it, then they will wait until your feet are like leveled and you're stable. Yeah.
And for you, usually when you lift it up over your head, do you become stable right away, or does it take some time?
No, it usually takes a few steps. Yeah, like a few steps to because when you jerk, you start with your legs like this, and then you land with them apart. So you have to step together, and then maybe you're a bit wiggly, and you have to adjust a bit more.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know it was so technical. Really, that's amazing.
Oh, it is. Yeah, and that's really, it makes it really fun. You always have something to focus on, something to fix, and ways to make your lift more effective.
After each competition, do you watch back your recording and to see how you can improve, or is it just mentally?
I mean, that's really what I do when I train. I really look at my lifts and look at what I can fix. So that should be like, it should be, how do you say it? You kind of have to fix that before you compete. So I'm not really focusing on the mistakes I do when I'm competing. It's, I don't really know how to say it, but yeah, it might be some things like, oh, I could have done that a bit better to make it more effective, or like, oh, this was the thing that made me lose the lift.
And what are the most common mistakes?
Common mistakes can be not finishing the pull. Like in snatch, you have to pull it all the way up to your hips, and then you kind of use your hips to throw it up, and then you land under it. If you don't pull the bar close enough to your hips, it will go forward instead of straight up. So you will have to jump forward to catch it, and that's really common to do. A really common mistake that causes you to miss the lifts.
And also for the snatch, because I've never done it, so I have no personal experience with it. But when the bar is up here, does it put pressure on the wrists?
Yeah, but that's actually the clean. You do the clean up to your shoulders, the snatches all the way up to your head.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's fine. It's a lot of names, but yeah, in the clean, it really does put a lot of pressure on your wrist, and especially in the jerk, because you're landing with it overhead, and sometimes your wrists can be like this, and then that's a lot of pressure on your wrists.
Have you been injured aside from gymnastics?
No, I've been really careful not to go. I mean, I'm always pushing my limits, but I try to not let my ego get in the way and push myself way harder than I can. So no, I've been really careful with that, not to injure myself.
Okay, that's good.
Training.
No ego lifting here.
No, exactly. That's the worst. Oh my God.
This may be kind of silly, but when I go to the gym, I see people and they're lifting. Like, it's just weird because the form is just so off because they're doing double the way that I think they should be,
Yeah. That's the thing that people do. They don't know, or they don't care about the importance of technique. They just, okay, I'm doing the clean. I get it up to my shoulders. It doesn't matter how I do it. I'm just going to go heavier and heavier until I fail it or injure myself.
Yeah. No.
That's really not good.
Not the way to go.
Not the way to go. No.
And for you, so for training, there's a specific program that you follow, right?
Yeah.
And for the weight increase, is that also in the program as well, or do you kind of determine it yourself?
Are you talking about like between competitions, or like, what do you mean, the weight increase?
Like training for the competition, because I imagine it's a progressive overload, right? When you're training.
It's you have like a few weeks when you're doing a lot of volume, so that means a lot of reps, and then you that's right after a competition, when you're preparing for the next one, you start with a lot of volume to build the strength. And then you kind of taper the volume, because when you're competing, you're not doing a lot of volume. You're just doing really heavy weights, really low reps. So you kind of taper that down to prepare yourself. And right before a competition, you're usually doing quite heavy lifts. but low reps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so so you're going from a lot of reps, really low weight, to fewer reps, heavier weights.
And so before you compete with the heavy weight that you do, is it the same one that you compete with?
During trainings.
Yeah.
Yeah, you usually go up to your starting weight, like 2 or 3 days before you compete. You go up to the weight that you're gonna start with, just to make sure that you're comfortable with it and that it's a safe weight to start with.
No, yeah, for sure. Because I mean, if you were to leave it just to the competition,
yeah, no, it wouldn't. No, you would just kind of be guessing, like, yeah, this is a good way to start with. No, but it's really good for your confidence to do the starting weight a few days before a competition, just to know that you can do it. So you can, if you're getting stressed, you're like, no, I did this a few days ago. This is easy. I can do it.
No, that's good. That's good. That's a good approach.
That is.
And regarding your ambition in the sport?
My ambition. Can you say it more specific?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
because you're already 9th in the world, right?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. I really love training and I love challenging myself. So, yeah, I mean, I always just want to get better. So, yeah. But that doesn't really mean that every single day I want to go to train and every single day I want to eat healthy and go to sleep early. I mean, there are days that I have no longing to go to training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you just have to push through that. And I mean, it can be weeks even or months that you just have no ambition for it. Just kind of have to push through it and get over it.
Get over it. Yeah. Discipline.
Yeah, just get over it. Yeah, discipline. Exactly. It's not always motivation. It's a lot of the time just discipline, just keeping your mind to the subject and just don't lose track of your goals.
That's very good advice, I feel like, for life even.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just wait to, you can't be sitting around waiting for the motivation to come. It doesn't work like that. You have to just be disciplined and start start.
And for you, when you're low in motivation, how long does that usually last? Like on average?
The most common for me is just one day. It's just, from time to time I have a bad day when I have low energy. I maybe didn't sleep very good, or there's something that I'm like missing out on. My friends are gonna do something fun, but I have to go to train. So yeah, that really can affect me. But it can also be like a few months. So in 2020, I competed at the national championships in CrossFit. And after that, I just had no motivation, no ambition, nothing. So I actually stopped training for like 2 months.
Wow.
Because it was just kind of like a burnout, you could say. I was just doing a lot and I was moving to a different country and I was just overwhelmed. So I took a few months off and came back stronger.
I think that's what usually happens, because when you take some time off, you kind of start to miss it, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that could be really helpful if you're feeling like you have no motivation and it's really hard to discipline yourself. Then maybe take a break. Just take a break, and you will most likely find the ambition again.
Is that the last break that you took?
Yeah, that was the last long break that I took. But I mean, I took a week off. I was sick, and then I take a few days off after each competition, but that's nothing huge. That's kind of what everyone does.
Yeah. And also, do you have a specific vision for yourself? Like, I don't know, 5 years from now or 10 years from now in the sport?
Yeah, I mean, I really want to do this professionally. So that's where I kind of see myself. Competing, doing it for a living, and maybe coaching, maybe opening up my own box, CrossFit box, or something like that. That's the dream.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you find the thing that you love, you put everything into it, and you dream, about it.
And don't you already do it professionally? Or what's the difference between that?
I mean, I just mean that because I'm still going to school, and I mean, I'm doing this as a hobby. But like in the future, I would love to be able to make money from it and just live off of it.
Do you have a specific goal with that in mind, or is it just kind of, see where it goes?
I mean, I've already made it to the World Championships, and that's like, it's the World Championships and then it's the Olympics. So, I mean, just keep on training and keep on competing and just see where I can go. Yeah.
I feel like that's a very good note to end the podcast episode with.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun. Really nice to talk to you.
It was nice to talk to you too. I learned so much about the sport and your commitment to it and everything.
That's great. Oh, I love to talk about it.